Okay, all right. That was a little weird, but I'm glad we made it.
You said you said it's live.
Yeah, it's live.
Sweet. Just confirming.
Okay, good. And our YouTube live is up, so we're good. Broadcasting to our million of fan, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
one day there's
fan.
gonna be millions. I don't. You know what? Last time, here's an interesting story.
Okay.
When we had the, I don't know, 2 or 3 episodes ago, and I was monitoring the chat on the YouTube live,
Yes.
and that's when that guy came on and started talking about homeschooling.
Homeschool. Yeah.
Anyway, I honestly thought it was just like a Russian troll or something at first. I was like, "There's
Oh, like a
no
bot.
way someone's randomly coming onto this zero viewers YouTube live and commenting." You know what I mean? I was like, "There's no fucking chance."
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, he either was a Russian hacker who just happened to be nice
Mm-hmm.
and
And want to
contributed.
learn more about homeschooling.
Or
Yeah.
he was just a regular nice guy.
Yeah. I
Uh,
I think the latter is probably the more
yeah,
likely scenario.
it's not as exciting, but I do agree with you.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And from what I understand, live is a kind of a big deal. Big deal. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it's definitely where you're going to get a lot more reach and
Okay,
helps grow your audience, I guess, more organically.
I hope that's
People are
true.
into the lives. Yeah,
Some weird
the
feedback
live
here.
events and whatnot. Oh, feedback.
Sounded like there's a demon of your voice
Sweet.
echoing way back here.
Super fun.
I think it's gone.
Oh, gone. Okay. Demon voice is gone. Excellent. So, what's happening?
Nothing, nothing, nothing. I guess it's Tuesday. We normally, well, we've been trying to record on Sundays, but
Mm-hmm.
this weekend was Thanksgiving. Hope everyone enjoyed their time with, pardon me, family and friends,
Agreed. Yeah.
and all the things that you were thankful for still remain true. Hopefully, no
Mm-hmm.
bridges were burned over these. I'm assuming more and more stressful family get-togethers.
I was gonna say family get-togethers can definitely be
Trigger.
instigator of a trigger. Yeah, instigator of yeah, all kinds of uncomfortable conversations and you know yeah. Maybe Uncle Jim Bob has a couple too many and starts saying some weird stuff.
Yeah, sometimes people are
Yeah.
really good at like locking it in until they get drunk, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
and
then
then
it
you find out what
all
they're really
just
thinking.
falls apart. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Quickly.
Uh, it's
Because
certainly
then
a
they're
fun
also
story
tired
though.
of being there. If you've been
Yeah,
in the house while the turkey's cooking, it's hot. Yeah.
and so for you, are you talking about these big family get-togethers? Uh, let's talk temperature control. What's because I feel like this might be a hey boomer kind of thing, but what what are some of your pet peeves when it comes to temperature control at these kind of things? Pet peeves is not the right word, but I'm just thinking of she's a lovely, lovely lady, Heidi, my
Yeah.
mother-in-law, but she will
Yeah.
have a fucking the stove going, the oven going, and a fire going in the fireplace,
Like it's
and
never hot enough.
it's never hot enough. And she gets it from her dad, Joe,
Okay.
who, I
Yeah.
mean, he's 93, so there might be good reason for it. But he would
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
things were we do every Christmas Eve at his house, and it's like 46 degrees in his living room,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay.
you're
So
wearing your church clothes and your Christmas clothes and stuff like that, and you're just trying to have a good time and drink and stuff, but you're just doing like this nonstop.
drinking makes you feel warmer too.
I suppose, yeah, it flushes the skin a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Gets your blood going. And then the temperature, yeah, and then layers of clothing. Because usually nice clothes are like long. You're not showing up in a t-shirt on Christmas Day. You know what I mean? You're not going to
Yeah.
church in a tee. So if you have any self-respect, come
I remember one.
on.
Oh, sorry.
No, you remember one.
A midnight mass, and a
Yeah.
gentleman in the pew in front of me turned around and offered me his flask during.
How old were you?
Oh, I don't know. Not old enough to take the flask. I was,
Okay.
yeah, I was probably like
Interesting.
16 or
Okay.
17 or something like that. Anyway,
Yikes.
Colin today probably would have taken a
Poacher.
drink just to be able to be like, yeah, of course I did. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If someone
Mm-hmm.
offers you a drink in the house of the Lord, you got to partake.
Mm-hmm.
It feels sacrilege
It's
not
the
to do that.
respectful thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're. Do you know
Oh,
people that keep their houses at 1,000,000,000 degrees just to keep the food warm?
I don't know if the reason is to keep the food warm or if that's just the temperature they like their house at, but my in-laws also have a very hot house. Um, However, at this time, my mother-in-law does like a cool breeze blowing through the living room now. Um, for reasons I will not disclose, but you can make your own assumptions.
Yeah.
Uh,
Logical conclusion.
yeah, and so sometimes she just needs to go stand by a cool breeze. And yeah, it was like pretty chilly when we went to their place. It was like 6 degrees outside. So anybody who sat by the window for even just a minute was like, "Whoa, it's cold out there."
Oh
So,
man.
but there was a little bit of reprieve, if you will. But yeah, generally their house is like 23 degrees,
Oh man, that's so
which
warm.
I think is too much for me. I think they set it at like 21.5, maybe 22. And then when Nan comes, they kind of crank it up a little bit because she's older. But I don't want to say every time, but like I've glanced at the thermostat and it's usually rocking 23.
Yeah.
So
I try to be like a
yeah.
21.5, 22. But
Yeah.
the
So
best we're doing right now is 22.5. That was the compromise, air quotes for those only listening.
okay.
Compromised.
For how cool you wanted it.
Yeah, I wanted it way cooler. And she's like 22.5 is fine. Because I think it was at 23. I could be wrong.
Okay. 22.5 is good. I feel like as it gets colder, I like the house to kind of just stay the same temperature all year. I don't know if this makes sense, but like more or less like between 20.5 and 21.5, I think is my temperature of choice.
Yeah, that
If
makes
it's
sense to me.
really hot in the summer, I'm like crank it down to 20.5. Like I need some relief. And maybe this is just like this most recent summer, I was pregnant for half of it. So
Yeah, that's true.
I was hot as fuck. And then I was also extremely hormonal for the rest of it. So perhaps my view is skewed. I don't know. But yeah, like a nice 20.5 in the summer. And then in the winter, I feel like 21.5 is kind of nice because like it's not too hot, not too cold. I guess
Yeah.
at night, I wouldn't mind turning it down a wee bit. I've seen a bunch of videos, and perhaps you've sent me some on TikTok of how it's like good to cool your room before you go to sleep. So a lot of, I don't say a lot, I think it's like Nordic type cultures
Yeah, maybe.
do this, where they'll like open the windows, not a super long time before bed, but like in their bedrooms, they'll crack open the windows, let some cool air in, kind of like suss out all the like air out the sheets and
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah. Well, it helps
let
cool
things
your
cool
body
off.
down too. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, did I lose you?
no, you're back now.
Oh,
I
okay.
lost you. I
Sorry.
lost you.
That was weird.
Found you.
There you are.
Sorry, you were talking about Nordic sleeping Nordic
Oh
sleeping
yeah, no,
habits.
I think this is like a, I don't know if it's a cultural thing or if just it's just something some people do. Um, but yeah, they'll like crack open the window, let their room cool off, let the blankets and sheets and whatever cool off so that when they get into bed, it's a lower temperature. And you were saying that this promotes
I'm pretty sure the reason why
performance.
is because it helps cool your body down and
Okay.
keep it cool, which is
Yeah.
a requirement for you to sleep. Your body has to drop in temperature in order for you to sleep.
Right. If it's
And
too warm, it's not going to settle.
yeah, and I'm already like so sensitive. Sensitive is a strong word, but like I get so hot so fast. So
Okay.
I really like I don't really care what the temperature is during the day as long as it's
Mhm.
AC'd and climate controlled. Like there's no
Mhm.
humidity in the house, it's fine. But man, at
Mhm.
night, if it was just like 18, 17, 16, I don't care how fucking cold, just get
16. Oh.
snuggled up in your blankets and you wouldn't even move. You'd be so fast.
Yeah, I think 18 at night's probably my low point. But I
That's
think that'd be
probably my
comfortable.
lowest reasonable temperature. Probably you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've had the windows open a couple times, like in the changing of seasons kind of thing, whether it be spring or fall, and like the house will get down to maybe 18 overnight kind of thing. And yeah, it's like kind of really refreshing to wake up to.
Yeah.
It if it's really winter, we're not opening the windows really, but even just that, like letting the temperature drop at night, like get up to pee, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah. Run
shivering on
back
your
to
way
bed.
back. Yeah,
uh,
snuggle. Nice, a nice duvet. Okay, so this ties into another question I have then. What type of blanket is best?
oh,
Or like
which bear is best? Which
like
blanket is best?
and does it have to
Uh,
be a blanket? Is a
I'm
duvet better? Is a quilt better? Like
I'm
what
gonna be
is
that
the
guy, and I'm gonna
thing? Yeah.
say it's entirely situation dependent.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Okay.
like on my bed, I want a big ass fucking duvet, comforter, whatever it's called,
Fluffy
massive. Yeah.
or thin?
No,
Heavy
well,
or
again,
light?
situation dependent. Like I want a light, thin
Oh,
one
okay,
in
okay,
the
okay, okay,
summer, and
okay.
I want a
Ah,
heavy, thick one in the winter. We
I
had
see.
two, but we ended up buying a. Oh, this is getting political now. We ended up buying a king size uh, blanket from IKEA because our
Yeah,
queen size bed, to go over our queen size bed, because allegedly I'm a
yeah,
blanket thief,
yeah.
and this was designed as an appeasement measure to make sure that she always has the required amount of blankets, no matter what my blanket situation happens to be.
The some people their have their own twin sized blanket and then they
Oh,
just use
that's
their
yeah. We
own.
talked about this on one of the other
I
episodes.
think.
Yeah,
I think so,
they,
yeah.
yeah, like same bed, separate blankets, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That was a technique
Yeah,
employed.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
But yeah, like
So,
snuggling
with
on the
that
couch,
said,
like
yeah.
almost any blanket will do.
Okay,
You know what
fair.
I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
Um,
As long as it's not one that my dog has stolen and now smells like my dog.
that's true too. I don't want to snuggle
Maple
up
does
to a
this
dog.
so much. So
Yeah,
much. And I
I don't
don't
know.
know how she gets it that smelly so fast. It's like all of her doggy oils.
She just like squirts all out and claims it. Mine has,
Yeah, she's like insta sweat. Ugh,
those like
sweats
dollar
everywhere.
store like rubber balls that have that net around them, and you squeeze them,
Yeah,
and it all just comes oozing out. I imagine that's what
she
Maple
does
looks
that.
like under blanket. Just
Some people call those toys fidget toys, apparently, because it
I
has like
mean,
a sensory aspect to
I
it.
guess so. That makes sense.
I don't
If you're asking me
like them.
honestly, anything's a fidget toy.
I guess, yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
fair.
Like, I'll fidget
Yeah.
with anything.
You get a little, I don't know, We were talking about this, my mom and I, this weekend, because Isla has this really soft blanket and it has like this satin edge.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how some kids really like just like how soothing it is to touch that texture, that like soft satin texture. And I won't call out anyone, but there's somebody I know very well who did this as a kid, and I just thought it was the sweetest thing. Um, anyways, but yeah, all this to say, I suppose you could turn anything into a fidget because that's kind of what it served as. Like if that was like the soothing thing, touching that texture, that's like a fidget.
I mean,
No,
I suppose.
it's
Yeah,
like a sensory thing.
it's a stimulating. It's a stimulation. It's
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I mean, you don't even realize you're doing it. My legs are always bouncing. I'm always like flicking pens and I don't know. I got 5 fucking fidget
Just
toys on my desk right now. I got spin
something
tops.
going
I
on.
got like a.
Didn't you get a bracelet?
I got a little
I'm not gonna call you out, but like,
little
oh,
little spinny thing here.
oh, look at it.
Mm.
I thought it was a golden snitch at first.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a golden snitch with one line kind of drawn all the way around it to the top. And Olivia would spin it, and she'd look at you, and she goes, "You're getting sleepy."
She's a hypnotist.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
cute.
got those bunch of those little beady bracelets because I mean you're not gonna walk around with fidget toys in your pocket. That's a little weird. So I just take off the bracelet and.
As a grown adult.
You're talking about the toys in my pocket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It would, because like I can't go to a public office to renew my license or whatever, and then pull out a spin top on their desk. You know what I mean? They lose their.
And just be like, hang on while I do my fidget.
Yeah, I
thing.
might as well get one of those Tech Deck mini fingerboards and start doing kickflips and ollies on
Yeah.
a little workstation.
Totally. Yeah. Why not?
But yeah, the bracelets are a fun, easy way to, and inconspicuous. No one looks at your bracelet. But
Yeah.
after a while, they always break and there's beads fucking everywhere.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Sounds delightful.
Do you
I feel like
anything
that's
in particular that you like to mess around with?
It's
There's so many opportunities for jokes here. I just hope
I know.
listeners
It's
are inserting them as they see fit.
it's a oh my gosh, why can't I think of the word? Anyways, Michael Scott would be having a field day with this.
That's what I said.
Yeah. I hate that I do this. It's my mom says it's nervous energy, which I don't think she's wrong. But I think it's other things too. But like I pick my hangnails and the skin around my fingernails.
Oh, big time.
And apparently this is like associated to like a bunch of different things. So they're like it could be OCD, it could be like perfectionism, it could be you know, all kinds of shit. So I think it's all of the above, and I do that too much. It's actually often why I shouldn't say often, I haven't really gotten my nails done in a long time, but like for a while I felt like it was peak problemo, so I was like getting acrylic nails done because I can't.
Well, that makes sense.
Do that. Yeah.
Little shields.
Like protecting myself from myself. What is going on?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like an actual term for it. I feel like I looked it up once. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Ripping your fingers apart?
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I feel like a lot of people do that. And I'm bad
The
for
fifth
doing
thing
that.
that comes off, picking nails, stimming. Great. Picking nails, meaning? I am not going to be able to pronounce this.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Oh, onychotillomania. Onychotillomania? What happens if I look that up?
If you Google it, Google should be able to say it for you.
There you go. Let me see if I can do that. Kind of makes me sound crazy. Repetitive picking or pulling of the nail unit causing damage to the nail matrix, nail bed, nail plate, and Perengual skin. How to pronounce?
Perengual sounds so inappropriate.
It's a very strange word.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh, it's literally making me watch an ad right now.
Fuck you, Google. Like, come on. Just trying to learn how to spell onomatopoeia.
Onychotillomania.
Onychotillomania.
Okay. Onychotillomania.
I mean, that sounds really complicated for what it is.
But yeah, so anyways, it's not I don't know. I've done it for so long, like I don't know when it started. I don't know why. I notice Isla doing it sometimes because I think she sees me do it so much that now she's just like, "Oh, this is what we do," and I'm like, "Fuck." I'm supposed to be breaking the cycles of generational trauma, not propelling them.
Not perpetuating the cycle.
Perpetuating. Sorry, that's the word.
Oh fuck, I lost it now. Oh, I don't know. Olivia does the same thing. She chews her nails an awful lot. And
Okay.
She's still at that age where toes aren't fucking disgusting.
So ew, no, Olivia.
You just look
over Reach, at her.
She looks like a fucking pretzel because she's got her teeth in her fucking toes.
Oh boy. Do you know, I told the kids, I don't even know if this is accurate, but I was like, that will give you hand, foot, mouth disease. And they're like, what? And I was like, you're not supposed to put your feet in your mouth. It'll make you sick. They're like, okay. Anson took it real serious. I was like, okay. And then 2 minutes later, chewing on her toenails again.
Of course.
She's
got like a goldfish memory.
Yeah. Like she's gonna be 3, so like I'm giving her a little grace, you know.
She's gonna be but as soon as she turns 3, she better smile.
Yeah.
Because I'm not dealing with this shit.
Will chewing toenails give you? The first thing that comes up is headache, and then the other one is more energy. Hand, foot, and mouth.
I mean, if that was the case, you could just chew your own hair and not be so disgusting. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah.
What do you catch hand, foot, mouth from? Passed on to other people. It's spread through cough, sneeze, poo, and fluid and blisters. Oh, the infection is caused by many different viruses. So you can get it more than once. Most people develop immunity as they get older. Great. Ew.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, I don't think that's why you get hand, foot, nail. I lied to them.
You know what though? I think lying to children is just a natural part of parenting.
I do my best not to. This was an unintentional lie. I did think that was one of the ways that you could get it. So that's just my.
I think you can even zoom that out further. I think lying is just required on a day-to-day basis to get by.
A colorful twist on truth.
Well, yeah, like if someone says, "Hey, how are you?" I'm not fucking breaking it down for you right now, but not good, man. Not good.
Yeah. I think you're allowed to say those things too, though. Like they're allowed to know that not every day is like rainbows and butterflies.
I suppose I was thinking of just like coworkers and shit.
Oh, a random person. I see.
Like,
I see. Yeah.
And that's what I meant by like required. You're not gonna lie very often. You're still also not telling the truth all the time.
This was legit a full philosophy class that we had. Philosophy? Maybe psychology. We had a class about it in high school, I remember. And they were like, so do you ever lie? And everybody's like, I guess, yeah, sometimes. And they're like, okay. And then they broke down like all the different types of lies, right? I'm sure you did this. You have a psych degree.
Of course.
But then you realize like there are everyday lies that exist. Like technically keeping a secret or surprise is a lie.
Yeah.
But it's a good one.
Well,
for lack of a better term.
This is an interesting point.
But then there's lies that can hurt others. There's lies that you tell people to help maybe protect them, or protect them in a way that you think, or to communicate something that you think will protect them, right? If somebody's like, if you say we're the middle person between two friends who are having an argument, and they're like, "Oh, did they say this about me?" You might just lie. Be like, "Oh, no, they didn't say anything."
It's interesting
And
too because
is
oh,
that
go
to
ahead.
protect them or you or what?
When you
But
talk about it, when you talk about a secret,
mm,
or when they have that conversation about secrets, is it like say a surprise party, like Jordan wants to
yeah,
surprise you for your 50th birthday, and
yeah.
him withholding that information
Which is a
from you
really, really, really long time from now.
super long, like
Super long.
46 years. No, it can't be
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
32,
More or less.
maybe. I don't know.
Sorry.
I'm no mathematician. Uh,
Me either.
and I guess what my question really is, because I mean, what is the imperative to tell the truth?
Right.
Like when you
Is
say,
truth good, inherently good, and then lies inherently bad? Like then it becomes that whole
I guess it
conversation.
devolves to that too, yeah. Because my kind
Yeah.
of thought was like, we we say these things because we believe that it's important to tell the truth, but the truth has to serve a purpose. Otherwise, it's just another
Mm-hmm.
fact, right? Like, are
Mm-hmm.
you is am I lying if the information I like say example like lie of omission when you just
Yep.
don't include information.
Yeah.
Um, am I lying to you when I know that we're planning a surprise for you, but I don't tell you despite us being close friends? Am I lying to you?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
where is like the gun to my head saying you better always tell her the truth,
Mm-hmm.
or you're a bad person or you're a bad friend or any number of things. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I think we try to like romanticize all this shit way too much. When in
Agreed.
reality, like lying is important. Lying is a protection. Lying is a defense
Well,
mechanism.
this is it. Yeah.
As long as
We
you're
are.
honest with yourself,
Yeah.
I think that's probably and yeah, your partners and shit, whatever. But you know what I mean?
Those closest to you, no big
Yeah.
deal. um, that's a really interesting point. I feel like the the culture we live in, I think
Yeah.
generally
Kind of
is
demands
truth
that
seeking.
behavior. Yeah.
And I think the climate, not the actual temperature climate, but like political climate, and just like the way that there's like woke culture now, there's a lot of like truth seeking, and people wanting answers and wanting things to change because there's perhaps disparity, or like a feeling that things are unfair or unequal. And like we've talked about this before, equal is not always fair. And so I think in this like hope to seek truth out of whatever situation it might be, um, like we could take, for example, like in the headlines right now, there's the whole P. Diddy, I don't want to say allegations, but is that how you would term that right now? Because there's not,
I would say
I
so.
don't know if there's proof
Well, there hasn't been a trial,
technically.
so we can't
Yeah.
like no one has banged the hammer and said guilty.
Oh, he got charged. Is that correct?
Yes,
He's been
I think
charged. Yeah.
charges are laid, but the charges are still alleged, right?
Pending. Yeah.
He's still innocent until proven guilty.
Yes. So
I
the allegations for that, as an example, um, kind of just to illustrate this point, like people want truth to come out, and it's so multifaceted. It's so hard, I think, in these situations, for someone to come forward because they know that people are going to be hurt by their information. And then we get into like, We have feelings. We are like very complex people. Our minds work in like almost unbelievable ways. And um, like sharing that information is definitely sharing truth, I should say, sorry, is definitely going to hurt some people. Whether it be like they have to relive this when they go on trial and whatever. Sorry, I don't mean to say whatever like I'm brushing it off, but like to encompass all of the things that go with that. And I feel like there's that like classic movie line, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth. And it's kind of true because I think that I don't want to say it evens out in the end. Like that's not true. But there is going to be like an imbalance of like truth seeking and then hurt people and then who's really getting punished at the end of the day. And, you know, whoever was involved still has to live with that reality indefinitely, right? I was trying to tie this back into like they have to live with themselves at the end of the day, and you have to be comfortable with the truths or the lies that you tell so that you're comfortable enough to live with yourself
That's a really
through
interesting
life,
point.
I think. Yeah. I
I think
hope
there's like,
that circled back the way I wanted to. It feels like it did in my head, but like,
let me
did I
summarize.
communicate that well?
You said fair isn't equal.
Yeah.
Equal isn't always fair.
Equal
And
isn't always fair. No.
then I wrote the corollary to that, which must also be this like true, which is fair isn't always equal either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So just something to keep in mind. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you said our minds do unbelievable things. My mind doesn't do unbelievable things. I just wanted to put that out there. And there's a really interesting message from Simon Sinek, who he's sort of like
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah.
yeah. If you folks don't know him, I highly suggest you check him out if you're in a position or envision a future where you're going to be working with a lot of other people on literally anything. It doesn't have to be corporate. Doesn't have to be anything. He offers a lot of
Question.
good. Hmm?
Question. Like, is he an intellectual?
Yeah,
He has like
he's an
studied
author. No,
author.
he's
Okay.
like he's an author. He's not an academic. I don't think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a book called Start with Why, which is basically
Okay.
with whatever endeavor you choose to embark on, if you understand why enough, then you're almost certain to achieve your endeavor. And I think I
Interesting.
can't remember the author's name, Richard Frankel. I don't know. Man's Search for Meaning. They talk about the same kind of thing, which is
Start with why.
yeah, start with why. And his kind of message was similar, but a little darker. But
Okay.
the people in the camps who had hope, had a reason to live.
Yes.
The people who had a why to try. Do you know what I mean? To get up every day and just deal with the nonsense and the horseshit. Those were the people who live, because inevitably everyone gets sick, and the people who don't have a why always died. Whereas the other people, people who are holding on to something, they fared out better by comparison.
The mind is a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he talks about telling the truth, and is honesty always the best policy? And there's kind of like two different categories of truth here. There's like your big truths. So like we're looking to the government for answers. We're looking to policy and whatever and society. And there's all these big fucking truths that people need and want and deserve. And then I think what we're more discussing is a lot of just the personal stuff.
Yeah. Day to day.
And he says, to that end, there's honesty is always the best policy, but the truth doesn't always have to be in the moment. So he's talking about how to be honest. So rather than he used a great example. A friend of his was in a play. The play was terrible, and I'm picturing Friends where everyone's telling
Mhm.
Joey he did a great job, and Chandler's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
terrible, worst play I've ever
Mhm.
seen." And Simon's basically saying, "Do that, but don't do that when it's not the right time." So
Mhm.
his friend came up, "What do you think of the play?" You know what? Man, the music was incredible. The plot line was captivating. The set
Yeah.
design was beautiful. He's like, I said all these things were very true and things that I really enjoyed, but I didn't say like you stank in the play.
Right.
And he
Yeah.
said, a few hours later, or the next day, I went over to their house or whatever, and I said, okay, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. You didn't do very well in the play.
Right.
So like, I don't know who's comfortable to say that to someone because I would let
Mhm.
someone else, like a newspaper, deliver that news. You know what I mean? Whoever did a review
Mhm.
for the play. But as an example, it illustrates a good point, which is um, be tactful. There's a time and a place. You don't have to say it in front of people. You don't have to humiliate or belittle anyone.
Yeah.
And even when you found the right time and place, the way in which you approach it, so that you're not, you know, I've got a great example of this. Truth telling. I One of my roles in earlier days of my career, I was a troop leader, so I had 24 to 30 soldiers that were in my troop, and they put in applications to go to do different courses or different jobs and stuff like that. And you're not supposed to. You help them fill out the paperwork, do the write ups, put the package together, and send it off and everything, right? So um,
Mhm.
this one
Admin
one
support.
admin support, yeah, we do their admin. Um, and it's so complicated sometimes for like, you know what I mean. They make it
Yeah.
difficult a lot of the times. But anyway, the guy wanted to go to a different unit. He wanted to go to special forces unit, and at the time, our applications had to go with a cover letter from the CO. And if people don't know this, no one in a leadership position that's senior does any of their
Mhm.
own paperwork. And I'm
Mm.
talking military,
Okay.
I'm talking corporations. Like, people draft shit for them. They have staff to do this. They draft
Sweet.
shit for them. Same with like politicians. They don't write their own speeches.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people get
Yeah.
their career advanced by writing good speeches for these people. So anyway,
Mhm.
there's always peons like me who make this, well, who do the paperwork. Um, but anyway, the cover letter basically said, uh, what I wrote on behalf of the CO to the unit that this guy was applying to was, in a nicer way, I said he has a hard time focusing on developing his professional competencies here. I don't think he is going to succeed pursuing your professional competencies there. Um,
Okay.
and we had a bit of a professional development session. And it wasn't because of this instance, but this instance got tied into it. At the end, we were talking about admin and paperwork, just a general conversation with some of the senior leadership in the squadron. And the
Yeah.
sergeant major, who is the senior soldier of the squadron, um, really knowledgeable individual. And also, they're the kind of people that understand how the system works. So they know how
Okay.
they can game it and when. Like, they're the real problem solvers, you know? Um, anyway, the one guy was trying to explain why my cover letter wasn't so good. And he's like, you know, these things go to the personnel selection officer, and they're going to read the file, and they're going to determine whether or not, this guy is or gal is suitable for this position based off of
Yeah.
the courses they've done. I don't know. There's this magic back there. But the cover letter, it doesn't have to be written so starkly. Like, these people are smart. They can kind of read between the lines, so that you can write a letter on behalf of the soldier, so that if that soldier ever gets to read that letter that you wrote for them, they won't. And the guy kind of trailed off. He's trying to figure out how to finish the sentence. And then the sergeant major said, "Want to slit his fucking throat." he's like, he's like, yeah.
Was he a boomer?
I think he was a boomer. But I mean,
Ooh.
the lesson was really important. Like, there's a way to say things,
Mhm.
and you have to know who you're talking to when you say these things. I mean, in
Mhm.
that point of my life, I was just okay. You want me to say, like, you told me what to do, I did it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But they're like, yeah,
Mhm.
do it better. You're here. I need you here. And
Right.
anyway, yeah, sharing the truth happens different ways, and
Mhm.
you can deliver it uh, in a good way and a bad way.
Yeah, there's different delivery methods for words.
Yeah.
More or
Well, no,
less.
different delivery methods for difficult conversations, difficult
Yeah, fair.
messages people don't want to hear.
And that's
So
the thing. It's what people don't want to hear, and then feelings get tied into it, emotions, blah blah blah. So it then becomes it's no longer like the message was like the tipping point.
mhm.
There's probably a bunch of other stuff happening. That's
Oh yeah, I mean that's usually the case, right?
yeah, what sets it off,
Or
if you
or which
will.
I'm really good at is I just pretend like on the outside nothing's changed. It's just like this.
Mm-hmm.
But on the inside I'm just crumbling.
Deadpan.
It just I fall apart. I cry myself into a sludgy pool of sadness.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's just how I handle it. Everyone
Cool.
can handle it their own way.
So a couple things. This reminds me of we just started watching Inside Out 2. Have you seen Inside Out 1?
I've seen them both, yes.
You've seen Inside Out 2. Great. So there's that scene at the beginning, spoiler alert for people, but
Spoiler alert.
she shows up at the hockey camp, hockey training, and then her and then Joy goes, "Okay, Sadness, you can take over," and like gives Sadness space to allow Riley to be sad for a moment, but enough that it was like, okay, we have to let this out because we've seen what happens when we don't let sadness out. And it just snowballs into this epic disaster where she's trying to run away from home and she's shoving all her emotions. Anyway, I thought that was like not what you were describing, but kind of like in your mind, everybody's like, okay, lock
Yeah.
it in, folks.
Yeah.
This is
It's
not
go
the
time.
time.
This
Yeah.
is not a drill.
Yeah.
Um,
And then, sorry, second thing. So we watched that, and it was going to tie into what else we've been watching. The Bear
oh, is that the chef
cooking
one with Lip
show.
from
Yeah.
Shameless? Yeah, that's a good show.
Jeremy Allen White.
Is
I
that his
think I
name?
finally remember his name. Feel like I watched Shameless for so long, and he's just Lip
Yeah.
forever. But he has an actual name, so I think that's nice. But yeah, we started watching it, and it was more of like I've heard so many people say how good it is, and I was like, let's just throw it on. So put on a couple episodes. Sure enough, Jordan and I get sucked in
Mm-hmm.
immediately. And now all day long we're like, yes, chef, no chef,
Yeah,
okay, chef,
yeah.
understood,
That's
chef.
so
Like
awesome.
all the time. It's goofy. But the show itself, wow. So
Yeah,
well
it's a
done.
good show. It is really well
Yeah.
done.
We started it last week. We're into season 2. And almost done. And there's a season 3, thank goodness. But then after that, we're waiting. So
Huge. He's gonna get typecast as like a Chicago guy.
I think so. I think he might already be there because we looked at each other a couple times and we were like, Lip would do
Yeah,
this.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
his inner lip is coming. Your lip is
Yeah.
showing.
Yeah. Totally. But yeah, so highly recommend for anyone looking to watch the series. And it just so happened, like I had decided a month ago, Mom and I were talking about like, what are we doing for Thanksgiving? Who's going where? What are we going to do? And I was like, oh, you come over. And then she suggested like a beef tenderloin dish. And so I started Googling beef tenderloin dishes. What comes up? Beef Wellington. I'm like, cool. Sounds nice. So I'm reading the recipe and I'm like, it's complicated, but I think I'd like to do this for a special occasion. So I decided to do it for Thanksgiving. Anyways, and so with us watching the show last week, I was like, I'm in the zone right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm watching, I'm inspired by this show, and yeah, I'm cooking this dish. I was like, I can do it. So I think it helped. It was perfect timing.
Did it work out well?
I think so. Yeah, everybody was like, "This is great." The kids, meh. I mean, they're hard to please. I think the beef was like it was too rare for Anson. He ate the parts that were a bit more cooked on the outside, and then Isla, like, she's usually good for protein. Like, it's rare that she leaves protein on her dish, whether it's like chicken, beef, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was good. And then for those who don't know, there's like a shell puff pastry filling between the meat and the pastry. It's quite delicious. I totally recommend it. It is a fair bit of work. Like takes the same amount of time as it does to cook a turkey, right? Like you're doing different steps.
Mm-hmm.
But like really fun to try something new, and I was like, I wouldn't mind making this again. Granted, like I think I'll save it for special occasions. It won't just be like every Sunday dinner,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, worth trying. And I know that you love to cook, so this might be something.
I love to cook. That's a fucking tricky dish.
And I will say this, I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I'm not a cook. Like I don't enjoy cooking really. If I have it in my head I want to try a dish, I don't want to say I'm trying to do my best to enjoy it. Like I usually invest myself in the process of it.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like cooking is not my gig. So yeah. So for someone like you, I feel like I don't want to say you'd appreciate it more, but I think you'd get more out of it.
Yeah, I probably would.
You know?
I know how difficult it is.
Okay.
But I've never done it, so now I don't know. I've never even thought to do it. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
occurred to
you
me
can.
a fucking beef Wellington.
You can. I can do it. Any fucking buddy can do it, bro.
I made our Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday. We had chicken, which we called turkey.
Nice.
Just
was this at home or at the cottage?
Here at home. Cassie worked all weekend.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm. I was thankful for that. I made garlic and Parmesan asparagus, and then I made like a cheesy sort of broccoli thing, and
nice,
and just mashed potatoes and gravy. But it was simple. I didn't make a fucking beef Wellington. But
I feel like anytime you cook or make an effort to make food, that's huge. I think to me.
So too. I mean, everything is so immediate now. Like you don't have to do anything if you don't want to.
Right, that's true.
And you
probably could have ordered Thanksgiving dinner on Uber Eats,
Yeah, like Swiss Chalet.
Yeah, sure.
I want to go back to the Inside Out thing. You're talking about sadness.
Yes.
It's obvious the message in that.
Have you seen this before?
What is this an emotion wheel?
Yeah. Have you seen these before?
Not so detailed, but I have.
Yeah, I was told to get one. So I did. But sadness, we'll get into this more detailed for the listeners. I'll read them out. But sadness. Sorry, you're getting into the sadness piece.
My microphone is falling. Hang on.
Oh my goodness.
Emergency repair.
Like I said before a million times, if we weren't having technical difficulties, would this even be our podcast?
Welcome to our next segment. Oh, fuck. It's getting worse.
It's getting way worser.
Maybe you can still hear me here.
I can.
Fuck
loud and clear, amigo.
Yeah, like we watched Inside Out 2, and I was really happy
Mhm.
about it because I think it was a great way to communicate to young children the fucking hardship of dealing with your emotions. You know what I mean? It's not easy for anyone, let alone the
Totally.
kids. And I was
Totally.
really happy of the additional characters. I thought they were hilarious. I won't give them
I
away
yeah.
in case it's a spoiler, but
Yeah, I'm just at the beginning, so the new characters have just made their way in, and I'm already laughing because you can kind of like see where this is gonna lead, you know?
yeah. But I think I'm going to say it's stupid, but the really good takeaway from that movie too is like all your emotions serve a purpose. We tend to label
Yeah.
emotions as good emotions and bad emotions,
Yeah.
but realistically,
Don't
you know,
do that.
yeah, like our whole generation is dealing with repressed emotions.
Mhm.
This is what happens when you don't allow yourself, allow your body to do the things it needs to do. You just get sick.
Yep. Yeah. So, sadness. There's this whole plethora. There's there's like second stage sad emotions, and then there's a third stage sad emotions. I don't think this is the technical graduated system terms, but this is how I'm referring to them. So there's guilty, abandoned, despair, depressed, lonely, bored. Bored falls
Interesting.
into sad. And then beyond that, there's remorseful, ashamed, ignored, victimized, powerless, vulnerable, inferior, empty, abandoned, isolated, apathetic, indifferent. That's deep. 3 tiers
Is it
deep.
like is it like a spin the wheel kind of thing? Do you just flick it and see what you're gonna do that day?
Pick this one.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
be
just,
bored.
I think it's supposed to help. So the reason this was recommended to me is that uh, I often, I shouldn't say I often, but I sometimes don't know what I'm feeling. So, like, by having this, I can be like, oh, this is what it is. Oh, it's actually surprise, or it's actually fear, or it's actually this. And by breaking it down this way, it's also pointing out whether it's an inward, like I'm feeling this towards me, or I'm feeling this outward towards others. Uh, Spoiler alert, it's often towards myself. But this is kind of like supposed to help me understand myself better.
I like
So
it.
it's a good tool, I think, for anyone to have if you're like not familiar with your emotions,
I'm gonna get one of those
which
for
I
the
think a lot of
kids.
people aren't. Like you were saying, uh, a lot of millennials are in therapy for this reason. Uh, we have repressed emotions. And so it's like figuring out what they are, accepting them. Like you said, there's no good or bad emotions, there are emotions. And then it's kind of like, I don't even want to say working through, just accepting that they happen,
Well, yeah, like if you're sad,
more or
be
less.
sad.
Yeah.
If you're
Feel
angry,
it.
be angry.
Yeah.
But just don't punch shit. Don't scream at shit.
Yeah.
Don't cry in the middle of the street or
Yeah. There's this
in the
adorable
living room when we're
TikTok.
trying to watch TV.
Everybody's laughing. You're like, yeah, there's oh gosh, there's this adorable little girl on TikTok, and her mom's like, okay, what do we say? And she's like, um, wait, oh gosh, all are allowed, and I feel like
No,
that's
it just cut over the
is
whole
that
thing.
no,
I'm so sorry. Could you say it again?
yeah. So all feelings are allowed. All behaviors are not.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like word for word the quote, but like
Yeah, that
that's
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
You-
I feel like that's where we've attached the good and the bad, is that people's behaviors are not the feeling, they're like an outward expression. And
Yeah.
it's learning how to behave in a way that is appropriate when you're having feelings.
Mhm.
And again, I think a lot of people don't know how. I think this is like a perfect example of like the Karens of the world. They feel perhaps violated, furious, provoked, or
Violated is
hostile.
probably perfect.
Yeah.
Like when you
So
say that, I was like, every single Karen, like they feel they look
feels
violated.
violated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone just
Absolutely.
grabbed their titty in public. You know what I mean? Like
That level. Yeah.
that level of egregiousness.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry.
So shouting at the manager for 2 hours is not maybe the behavior that we would prescribe for that situation.
Do you ever mix up thoughts and feelings?
Probably, but do you have an example?
I don't think so. I was just curious.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think, if we talk about our state of being at,
Mm-hmm.
like any point in the day, any day, you're not quite
Mm-hmm.
sure, what's going on or whatever. But in a moment, you're standing there and you're like, sadness, anger, whatever it might be, happiness. I don't know
Yeah.
what the other ones are. And you're thinking, is it because the things that are running through your head, the thoughts that you're, and this might be different for the audience. Like in the way my mind works is it's kind of just like the New York Stock Exchange ticker reel.
Banner.
It's just
Yeah.
one thought after another, and then there's 5 of them on top of each other. So it's just
Okay.
a storm of thoughts, like all the time. So,
You're
I'm
basically
sure.
just like at an airport, planes taking off and landing constantly.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Anyway,
Yeah.
like generally my feelings are pretty obvious to me. I can tell
Okay.
what mood I'm in or whatever. But
Yeah.
sometimes I know that my thoughts just kind of fan the fire. They're not accurate. They're not real. They're just the thoughts that continue to come along with the feeling. And then
What
I
do they
guess
call it?
sometimes,
Invasive thoughts? No.
well, invasive thoughts are like, I should just drive off this bridge. But
Oh. No, I'm thinking of something else then.
but yeah, anyway, I was just curious because
Sorry. Intrusive
like,
thoughts?
can the thought bring on the feeling? I'm sure it could, That makes sense.
Right. So
Like if you remember that time that person punched you in the face, does
yeah,
that feeling come back again? Is that a thought or is
yeah,
that a memory? Are those different things? Oh man.
that is also a good question. So I think memory would be different than a thought. I think thought. Oh dear. Oh no.
Say that again.
Oh, okay. I was just it said it disconnected for a sec, so I was kind of just
okay.
giving it time to buffer. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay, so I think that thoughts are not feelings.
Mhm.
Can thoughts trigger feelings? For sure. Because I could think about what I
Think
have
about a
to
happy
do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So think of the
It's the
day your
Patronus
children are
charm.
born.
Oh, that's
Okay.
it.
Sorry, go on. Patronus charm?
Yeah, like you have to think of a happy thought to do.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not saying it's making you happy, but I'm sure there's a part of you that feels happy while you're trying to fight off all the dementors.
Yes, totally.
Sorry, you were saying?
Wish I had that kind of power.
Me too.
I was thinking more just like you think think happy thoughts then? Because I feel like when I think happy thoughts, I'm looking back at memories. is there another way to
Yeah,
think
so
happy thoughts?
we don't have to think in in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We could say, I'm happy right now. I
Mm-hmm.
am like, I don't know, like I'm on a beach,
So
like I'm gonna go
jazzed.
to your happy place kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, fired
Okay.
up. Picture Dwight trying to get ready for his performance evaluation. He's just in the hallway doing his karate, saying all the great things about him, and those are
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, and he's using them to generate the feeling, so he can go in there and kick ass. I guess it's kind of the same thing as like listening to music before a big game or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
Music trigger our thoughts. What trigger emotions? Can you have
Well,
feelings without thoughts?
holy shit. I'm sure. I'm sure you can. I just.
Yeah.
I just don't know that like the perceiving part of you would
Yeah.
be able to differentiate it. Like I'm
Right.
sure scientifically they can prove that yes, it's possible. But
Yeah.
like I'm picturing like LeBron James sitting there with his headphones on, getting ready for a game, and I don't know what he's thinking about. I don't know if he's focused on the game. Presumably,
Mm-hmm.
he's getting ready. So those thoughts are driving his feelings. The music is just
Mm-hmm.
like fuck yeah, firing him up
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Um, but I'm sure like I don't know because like if Cassie said I don't love you anymore, I would feel sad.
Yeah.
But I would have to feel sad because the thought that I'm being rejected or whatever, you know what I mean, is causing the sadness, or
Okay.
maybe it's reaffirming some insecurities you may have or whatever. But I feel like the
This
thought
is a deep
has to
question.
precede the feeling, or there's no feeling that you can
Okay.
perceive, but your body is sensing something and trying to tell you via the feeling. You just like your spider sense kind of thing. I don't
Right.
know if that makes sense.
That you okay, so that's another interesting thing. That like sixth sense type of thing.
Yeah, like when sometimes
Intuition.
you feel like someone's watching you, and you kind of do one of
Yeah.
those. Same idea,
And
but
yeah, that would be tied to feelings because you maybe feel like watched or nervous or excited. Maybe you're
yeah,
like, oh, is that somebody coming home? You know what I mean? But then that I think that's still tied to thoughts somehow.
yeah. What I'm saying is like you can feel the feeling. You
Yeah.
feel like you're walking down a dark. Oh no. Like none of this makes sense. I feel like the thought has to be there first.
If you were gonna say walking down a dark alley, I'd be like, I feel unsafe.
Yeah, no, you're walking down a brightly lit, highly surveilled open field,
Midday.
midday,
Yeah.
nothing but Girl Guides and Boy Scouts around.
Sunshine and rainbows.
You
Okay.
couldn't feel safer. But then all of a sudden you feel
Okay.
anxious or you feel in danger. And there's no thought that preceded that. You just feel it. So maybe it's your body sensing danger and trying to communicate it to
Oh.
you. And
And
secretly,
is that in our
the Boy
nature?
Scouts and the Girl Guides are a highly trained crew of assassins.
Ugh, knew it.
Yeah, and they're not even going to find you in the field. They won't even notice the vultures. You know what I mean? Like, no one's looking for that.
Yeah. You were saying you were describing this very safe place, and I wasn't quick enough to add this, but I was like, okay, so we're in the middle of Newfoundland.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Safest
It's
place
funny.
ever.
Once you get into Newfoundland, you're safe. Trying to get past the border is the hard part.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah. Don't try and leave.
That's
Asshole.
so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Also, we'll
um,
charge you an arm and a leg to get out
do
of
you,
here.
do you want to play a fun game before we go?
Yes, and I have two. Did we talk about these last time? I got a couple of Gen Z, Gen Alpha terms,
Let's do it.
I think. Do you want to do yours?
I don't.
Your game first or these?
Yeah, we'll do these first, and then we'll do the game because the
Okay.
game will fizzle out, and then we can just leave.
Okay. Forgive me. Talked about one before. Brain rot.
Is that what we're talking about, or is this
Brain rot is
the reason why we may have talked about this before?
an expression used by Gen Alpha
Oh,
and Gen Z, colloquial term used to describe internet content deemed to be of low quality or value.
oh my god! Everything on YouTube that the kids watch.
Yeah, so it'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so brain rot. I think.
Is it brain rot? Man.
Or I think they might just shout brain rot, possibly. And have you also heard it's in the same lane? Dog water.
I imagine it means it's terrible.
Rubbish
I've
or
used
trash
dog
in
water
slang.
before. I think dog water is like a recycled one.
Is it?
I don't
So it's
know.
an expression that is usually referred to a player's skill level on the gaming platform Fortnite. But yeah, generally extremely bad or trash. It's used to say that someone or something is bad, usually related to gaming.
That's
Dog
annoying.
water.
Dog.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Our
Appreciate
thesaurus is growing. Thesaurus?
that.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we would use these words to replace the other words we're using.
Part of me wanted to like expand on this and talk about retired expressions.
Oh, well, most of them are racist, so we can't really bring them up on the show.
Sorry, of the millennial era.
Oh,
Yeah.
some of them are still racist, though.
Some of them are so racist. Fair. Okay, so sorry. You were saying game.
Yeah, it's called Mind Meld, and it's really simple.
Okay.
We
I'm
just have
scared.
to say the exact same word at the exact same time. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, go, and then we'll both say a word, and it won't
Okay.
be the same unless
No.
it is, and then it'll be like just wild. But we can use we could try to like come closer together in words and see.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's ever done it before. If I've seen a lot of this on the socials, but I
Okay.
don't know that I've seen anyone succeed.
Sorry, what is this game called?
Mind meld.
Mind meld.
Melt.
Okay.
Meld.
We're trying to get to the same word.
So the word go in the vis-a-vis the following 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
Go is where we'll put the word that we're gonna say. So when I count to 3, then we say the word.
1, 2, 3.
Word. Okay. Ready? Any questions?
No.
Hey, why?
Wait, are we gonna say 1, 2, 3 again, or we just start saying words and try and
No.
get them closer?
No, we gotta keep saying 1, 2, 3, go. Otherwise, I'll get too excited.
Okay.
and we'll
Okay, we'll just
keep
be
going.
shouting words.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Turkey.
Green.
No, we have to say it at the same time.
Sorry. It was close.
1, 2, 3.
Tomato. Colin,
You have
you're
to
supposed
say
to say it.
1, 2, 3. Word. There's no pause. Okay. We're not. It's not double Dutch. Just go for it. Okay. What was the last word you just said?
Tomato. What did you say?
I said,
You didn't say a word.
No, I didn't. I was gonna say color though, because I was
Oh,
trying
okay.
to like bracket it. But okay.
Okay.
One.
Well, you said turkey, and then I said a food.
Yeah. No, we both have the right idea. We just.
Oh, okay.
It's like when you're trying to pass someone in the hallway and you both make the same move and you're just always. Okay.
And then you have to
One.
finally be like, I give you the
Yeah,
right
just
of way.
Plaster yourself to the wall like you go. I'll do it. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Bread.
I blanked. I don't know what to tell you.
Think of a word. Do you have a word? Tell me when you have a word. There's a billion of them.
I know there's too many.
Just pick the one that's in your head right now.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Airplane.
Toast.
We have to say them at the same time.
I thought we did. You said it at the same time as me in my
Oh.
recording.
Oh, there's a delay on my end. I see.
Oh.
It was okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Ready?
I don't know. Yes. Okay.
One more round. Okay. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Jam.
Rocket ship.
Nah. Yeah, we didn't.
No.
We didn't do very well.
We're not there.
Speaking
That's
of
okay.
rocket ship, though, did you hear
Yeah.
what SpaceX did?
They launched a rocket ship. No.
They launched a rocket ship.
Okay.
So it was the big ass one, like the one that's going to have people in it. Like the one that brought the astronauts to the ISS. But this was like the 5th launch of that shuttle. Or I don't know. But the cool thing is they brought the rocket booster back. Like they've been doing this for a while now.
Impossible.
Are you not familiar with this?
I thought they exploded and you couldn't use them again.
So it's just a giant tube with solid fuel inside it.
Yeah.
And a bunch of rocket motors on the bottom to direct where the rocket's going.
Yeah.
So technically, yes, an explosion, but the whole thing stays intact. And generally, they would just stay up in space and float, but or fall to the ground depending on where they were in the launch. But SpaceX developed their
terrifying.
rockets to come back down. Like they'll just fall forever, and then when they get close, they've got the rocket boosters turn on and they fire them so they slow down, and they have ones on the sides so that they can change the angle of descent and stuff like that. And they've been landing these rocket boosters, on landing pads on land, on landing pads in the water, and most recently, like the tower that holds up the spaceship.
Yep.
Before the little things come aside, the chopsticks come out, the arms move, and the thing takes off. Well, the rocket booster came back down and hovered beside the tower, and the arms came back and grabbed it.
What?
So it wasn't even touching the ground. You know what I mean? Like
it just was like waiting for a tiny little hug from this.
Yeah, it was like I mean, incredible feats of engineering and you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, I sometimes can't even leave the house on time. I don't understand how to cover this spread. How does that happen? How does so many good things happen to one guy? And he's also going to be co-president. Yeah, I think he's like huge in Donald Trump right now.
Cool. He's going to slide in his ideas. Just be like, here you go.
Well, I mean, it really works out for Donald Trump that he's got access. Unfettered. Like no one at Twitter shutting his account down during this election campaign.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. 'Cause that's like, I don't want to say what kept things civil, but like them shutting down his account, he was no longer able to post kind of like the bonkers things that he was putting up, and it was causing a lot of controversy. But I don't know if this is true, but I kind of perceived it as a tactic to steer people's attention away from other stuff that he was doing.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like an attention diverter,
I mean, you can realistically, I think this, and not to the extreme, but you can look at what is on the news and hear what people are reporting on and what journalists are covering, all this kind of stuff. And my question is always, what aren't they showing us? What aren't they telling us, kind of thing? You know what I mean? Are they trying to give us something to appease us, to distract us, to make us look over here? Same idea, like, keep them occupied looking at this so they don't see what we're doing over here, which is way worse. I don't know. I'm sure it's partially true, but not too way worse.
But a little bit.
Someone actually in real life said that the other day, and I laughed so hard and no one else understood.
They're like, it's not that funny. Yeah. You're like, we
Anyway.
just got 3 answers, and it was formatted the same way this almost 6-year-old I know does. So
Oh man.
good times.
Well.
Yeah. This was loaded. No?
This was a good one. I don't even know.
Dang.
I don't even know what to title this one.
I do. Don't worry about it.
Oh, perfect. I love it. This works out well for me. All right,
Great.
friends. We will.
Cool. Yeah.
Talk to you next time.
Next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. And toodles.